right, this is a public hearing by the Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Granby. Representing the board are Bill Percival, Ann Crimmins, Wayne Chappell, Suzanne Yuha. So will the secretary please read the legal notice of the meeting?
There will be a public hearing conducted by the Zoning Board of Appeals on Tuesday, November 15th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. in the Granby Town Hall, Meeting Room, 15 North Granby Road, to hear the following item. Appeal by Patrick Hanley seeking a front yard variance to Section 5.0 and a watercourse separation variance to Section 2.12 of the zoning regulations to allow construction for a building for property located at 15 Barkhamsted Road, file Z11-16-01. At the hearing, interested persons may appear and written communications will be received. A copy of the appeal is on file in the office of the Director of Community Development, Granby Town Hall.
All right, you have the minutes of the last meeting, which I believe was in June. Are there any additions or corrections?
Move to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes of the meeting in June are approved. Here's how we operate. We hear the appeals in the order of the legal notice. You as applicants explain the application to the board, introducing any exhibits you feel will help us make a fair decision. Speakers can speak on behalf. Speakers can speak in opposition. The applicant may rebut the opposition. And we as board members, of course, will ask questions. The speakers will come to the podium, give their name and address before speaking. Would request that all cell phones be off or at least on vibrate so we don't have any interruptions. So when we reach a decision, you will be notified by certified mail, usually within 10 days. The granting of a variance or appeal requires a yes vote of 4 members. Now, as you see, we normally have 5. We only have 4. Not sure why, but we do have one alternate sitting in. If you desire to wait until we have the next meeting in December, that is your option. If you want to stop at any time during the meeting, you can do that as well. I call that my Miranda warning, that if you want to wait until we have 5 members, that's certainly up to you. So if we grant the variance, be sure to record it with the town clerk within 90 days. Now, since we only have the one application, if you would come up and come to the podium and state your name and address. And
I am Patrick Hanley, 15 Barkhamsted Road in Granby, and I would like to build a new house on the property. It would be basically an 1,800 square foot Cape style home, 2-car garage, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. There are 2 existing buildings on the house right now, on the property right now. Dilapidated house built in the 1930s and a dilapidated garage built in the 1960s, both of which would come down. And I'd like to build a new house shown here. Further back from the existing structures, leaving more room between the water course, which is flagged down here, and there's a small piece over here. So this red line here represents the buildable envelope with respect to the property line. Offsets 50 feet front and rear and 25 on the side, and this small red area here represents the buildable area with regard to the wetlands separation. So with this being my buildable area, I'm looking for 2 variances, one in the front yard, a 20-foot variance in the front yard to keep the house up on higher ground away from the water course. And then I would also be looking for another variance of 40 feet from the water course separation. And that's basically it.
I noticed on one of the maps that the well is,
Yes, the well.
how far away from that well would you be?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use that well at this point. I may have to put in a new well, but right now the well sits about 45 feet from the closest point of the proposed house. And so I may have to move that depending on what the situation is with that. I think it's just a little dug well. I'll have to talk to Farmington Valley Health and see if they'll let me use it or improve it.
The house that's on the lot now is already in violation, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Of both front yard and water course.
Correct.
Now, you said that you're in the process of taking down the barn and the existing house?
Correct.
How far along are you?
I basically have the house cleaned out and taken the glass out, and I still have some contents in the barn to be cleaned out. But I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks I can get the two of them taken down.
So, as of today, is the house livable?
No.
No. So the water's off or everything's
Yeah,
disconnected?
power's been disconnected, water's been disconnected,
Okay.
and it's certainly not livable. The back half has been falling in for years.
Okay.
Was there a third building on the lot at one point?
There were some wood sheds and tool sheds and that kind of thing that I've already taken down.
When you talked to Fran, you talked to Fran Armentano?
Yes.
First? Did he say anything about Wetlands Commission and whether or not you needed to discuss this with them?
Yeah, I will have to discuss that with them.
For your first stop? Is that right? The ZBA is your first stop on
Yes,
the way
correct.
to getting all approved?
Yes.
Okay.
But I have gotten all the permits from wetlands for the demolition, and we have discussed the project, and Kate seems willing to work with me if I, grant me some space if I give back with wetland planting and wetland buffers for filtration. And I've used wild sod, they call it, in the past on past jobs. It comes in pieces like regular turf sod, and you lay it down just as you would turf. And so you have instant erosion control, and it's native ferns and low bush blueberry. So that would be my approach on that.
The sod you get has blueberry in it?
Yeah, it's low bush. It's harvested, from up in Maine, actually. Ferns and blueberries. So it's all native plant material, and it's instant erosion control. And as far as the front yard variance goes, I'm going to be. I'd like to remove this whole leg of the driveway and turn this into a buffer planting of hemlock trees and native plantings, and just use this existing driveway entrance and expand on that as the driveway, so this would become buffered from the street.
Is this the house you're going to live in, or you're looking to build?
Probably not. I'm looking to build it and sell it, but keep my options open because I do like the lot, so I may see where I end up.
Now, where is your septic?
There is a small septic tank located right there, right off of the house, about 7 feet off of the house. It's a
Off of
small
the existing
4x4.
house.
Yeah. And that's all I've uncovered. I don't know what the leaching system is. Probably just some dry wells. But the soils there have a great percolation rate, so it's probably very minimal. But I do plan on removing the tank, pumping the tank, removing the tank, and crushing it. I'm a licensed septic installer as well, so I'm working with Farmington Valley Health on that issue. And also abandoning this section of driveway gives me room for the new septic to go up here on higher ground, and probably even leave room for the reserve area that they're probably going to require.
Could you show the picture of the house again? Flip over to the
Sure.
other side.
That would be the side facing the road.
Yep, okay.
And then on the other side, the opposing gable would have a deck coming off to,
Yep.
take advantage of the surroundings and the views of the mountain brook.
Now, you're going to be from the water 20 feet?
35 is what I would end up.
No, because it says seek distance from watercourse of 20 feet on your application.
Yeah, I think when Fran and I did that, we had the house in a slightly different location. Now it's been shifted over. So I'd be looking for 40 feet for wetland separation, leaving me about 35 feet from the closest point.
So you're farther away than what you
Right.
anticipated.
Yeah, and I'm further from the existing structures too.
So I assume you would like to orally amend your application and saying that
Yeah, looking
the
for
request to be 35 rather than 20.
Yeah, how would that be worded? A 40-foot variance, which would leave me 35 feet from the watercourse?
So no closer than 35.
Yeah.
And on the front,
The
you're
front would still be
saying
20.
20 is on the
Yeah.
front?
Yeah.
Okay, so no closer than, 30 feet inside the building line, which it appears that the house that was there, or is in the process of being torn down, was right on the line, right on the building line?
Over.
Close. That was 35 feet or so, 37 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still, it does jump out of the envelope by about 17 or 13 feet, I guess. The existing house does.
So it's 40-foot variance you're looking for, is that what we decided?
Yeah, for the watercourse separation.
And then 20 for the front.
Correct.
And you know the whole thing about, it's not the footprint, it's, if you have eaves, it should be from the eaves that you're taking your measurement.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
So,
No.
yeah, you want to add a little bit in for that,
Okay.
whatever, I don't know what you
Yeah,
have.
maybe another, I wanted to kind of do an exaggerated eave, kind of like a chalet style. So that might encroach another 2 to 3 feet, I would think.
You don't want to get a variance that doesn't have enough, so,
Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
maybe if I had 45 feet to be comfortable, I may not use it all,
Right,
45-foot variance.
so that'd be 30 feet away from there,
So instead of 20, you're looking 15.
right.
That would give you the extra 5 feet if it's a 50-foot building line.
This is for the water course, though, right?
Either.
Yeah, watercourse, and then
Both.
Okay, yeah, 35 if it's on that side.
45-foot variance on a 75-foot requirement, right?
Right.
and then I guess there would be an eave coming down on this wall, so that may push that a few feet closer to
To the front.
the front, yeah.
Okay, so it's not on the watercourse side,
It's
it's on the
both
front.
ends.
Yeah, and there would be one here too, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you need 5 extra on both.
yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So a 25-foot variance on the front and a 45-foot variance on the water course.
Yeah.
No closer than 15 on the front,
Well,
because he asked for 20.
Right, he's
Okay.
asking,
The front is 50 feet. So
I'm
30
just
yeah.
taking this 20 to 25. That's all I was saying. He asked for a 20-foot
For the front
variance.
yard.
And
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
5 feet more than that for his.
Okay, so 35 feet.
And that would leave,
I think that was
15.
from the water course.
Yeah, but he needs it on both sides.
Right, oh, that's right.
right, so he's going to,
Yeah.
instead of a 20-foot variance from the water course, he went to a 40-foot, but then he realized, let's put the extra
Right.
5 feet on for Eve, so it's a
Right.
45-foot variance on the water course.
Right.
Right,
Then he
Right.
goes from a 20-foot
25.
variance on the front to a 25-foot variance.
Right.
on the front.
No. Okay. Okay. So he's 25 feet inside the 50-foot variance.
Right.
Right.
So he doesn't, okay, just as long as we always have to cover for the eaves because
Okay,
you didn't realize and we always like to double check.
yeah, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
So that's the only place you can put the house, is that?
This is-
With leaving room for septic and not encroaching on this, not encroaching on that wetland
Yeah.
anymore, I've kind of split the difference between the two and kind of tried to pick the highest ground to stay away from, if the river were ever to breach its banks.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that, just out of curiosity, is that flooded before, do you know, in the house?
Not that I know of. And the soil scientist really didn't find evidence of that in his testing. So he flagged right along the banks of the river. And then this small piece here kind of functions as a wetland, mainly just because this wood road here acts like a dam. And water, runoff comes across the yard and kind of settles in there.
Interesting.
Okay. Do you have any other pictures or anything that you want to give us other than drawings or the site plan, the map?
No, this is all I have at this point.
Okay. While he's up there, any other questions that,
I can't think of anything else.
we're all set, Ann, for now anyways?
Well, good. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, have a seat, and we're not done yet, so you may have to answer some questions or whatever. Is there anyone here to speak for this application? All right, come on up, sir, and state your name and address up here at the podium, please.
Name is Gary Malucci.
Right over here.
Should I stand up here?
Yeah, please.
25 Barkhamsted Road. Upstream, I've been a neighbor, Byron Barnes, for 46 years. To answer your previous question, I've never seen the property flood, even in the flood of 2011 when my bridge was taken out. I've never seen Byron's place flood. But about 10 or 12 years ago, Byron had a heart issue, and he had a bypass, and after that, he was no longer able to take care of his property. So over the years, it slowly digressed. The roof caved in the back. He was never able to fix it. The weather got in. Byron used to have a 65 Chevy pickup, and trees were starting to grow out of the back of it and stuff. So I've watched Patrick over the summer, and he's very methodical in his approach. He respects the environment. He's very conscientious of what he does. So I have no problem whatsoever. I think it's just an improvement of what he's doing there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak for the application?
So I'm Bill Glick, and I live across the street at 18 Barkhamsted Road. And I agree with what Gary said, that Patrick has been very industrious. The property, as he kind of described, has been in disrepair, and really, I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you, in the town that something wasn't done to require the property to be cleaned up, because it was really a hazard. I was concerned about a fire or somebody getting injured over there, because it's really, really bad. So he came in and he cleaned the whole property up, and he's been doing a really nice job. So I guess, my thinking is that I'm in favor of it, because I agree that it's a improvement, but I think that it should be done within the character of the neighborhood and the town, and with the waterway being, respected and taken care of. There is an area over on the side of the road where people oftentimes park and they go fish there. And so I would I wouldn't want to see the access to the river cut off for people that like to use the river. And also, the picture of the home. Patrick, how big is the home that's there now? Is it like 1,000 square feet or something?
Yeah, it's just one story, so yeah, it's about 1,000 square feet.
Right, so it's a very small home on a kind of a, unusual and very small lot. And so, the picture of the home that he has, you take a little cabin and you replace it with an 1,800 square foot home with a 2-car garage. That's a pretty drastic change in use for that property. More people coming and going, there's some strain on the septic system, it's going to be more strain on the septic system. But if that's the case, I think that size of a home, would probably work there. But if you go up 2 stories from that and you change your mind, then all of a sudden there's a 3,000 square foot home there instead of an 1,800 square foot home, then maybe that doesn't work so well. So I would feel more comfortable. I support what he's doing, and I agree that it's a good improvement, and I'd like to see it done the way he's described it. If it was done bigger than that, I'm not so sure that I would be, I would want to rethink. But what he's described, I think would be a really nice improvement.
Just so you know, we have no authority over septic systems and
Yeah.
that sort of thing, so.
Right, that's
other
why-
boards deal with that, the Farmington Valley Health. We're just here to judge the hardship to the land, that there's,
Sure. Yeah, so
pretty
that's
much no
why,
other place to,
that's why I kind of have that caveat, because I know that you
Yeah.
don't control that. So
Yeah.
Patrick's been really good. He came over to my house, and he showed me the plans, and I had been down to see Fran, and Fran explained it to me. And then Patrick came over to the house and showed me and described what he has going on. And so I'm all for it, and he's an industrious guy, and good for him. But that's based on what I've seen and been told. So that's kind of, I'm gonna live at 18 Barkhamsted Road for who knows how long. And, if he's fixing the property up and flipping it, and making some money doing it, good for him again. But I have to live there. So that's, my only concern. But otherwise, I support it.
and seeing nobody else out there, I'm guessing no one who wants to oppose. Do you have any other comments on the 2 gentlemen that just spoke, or?
The house is going to appear as a smaller house. The second floor will be just a half wall. And really the footprint of the new house will be less than what the 2 existing structures are. And it'll certainly be in keeping with the surroundings. It's kind of a lodge, chalet style cape. And as far as the septic system goes, it'll obviously be a new septic designed and engineered for this home and the soil conditions on the site. And I already know that the percolation rates are excellent, so the septic system will be, as I mentioned, designed in compliance with the Department of Health. And I guess that's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from anyone here? Any concerns that you want to bring up at this time before I close the hearing? As we found, sometimes we can't open the hearing again, so we want to make sure we get everything out.
you like to see a picture of the existing house that's there now?
If you, sure, bring it up.
Look at the picture of it. That's bad, please. I mean, I agree with Phil that I also like to see a structure that's designed to enhance the character of the houses that are in the neighborhood now. And I have one other photo of the barn. So that's pretty much what the
Okay.
property looks like.
Got the dumpster out there.
Yeah. Oh, you okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
yeah. Thank you. That's better than looking at the GIS picture.
Yeah, that
little
one was a
clearer.
little gray.
Yeah. If we have no other questions, is it safe to close the meeting at 7:55? All right. We're going to go into the executive session, and basically, we only can talk. We can't ask you questions, and you can't talk, but you're welcome to stay. Pretty much. Yeah.
Deliberating? Okay.
Yeah, deliberating. There's no real other place that can hold it.
Yeah, gray.
It's in the newspaper, yeah.
It's in the newspaper? Okay. When you applied for the,
Can't, yeah. I can tell you general knowledge afterwards, but right now, we're talking about the application. Okay.
So I see no reason not to approve the request. It's a lot somebody wants to put a house on, and that's the only place to put it.
It's a reasonable
Right.
hardship.
Yeah, with everything, the wetlands, the water,
Yep.
the,
And he's taking accommodations for all of this stuff, the wetlands.
Right.
He's putting in, proper
Right.
protections and.
even though that's not our consideration, it's just,
Right.
but we still,
Yep,
it's...
but he's aware, so.
But it
Yeah.
looks like the Ts are being crossed.
Yes, yes. And an I here and there dotted, so we're, at first, when I looked at the map, I was thinking, yeah, can you get it back? But then we didn't know that the barn was being torn down as well, so
Right,
that changes things.
right, that I was, yeah.
Right.
So in essence, it is a smaller area than what was there existing, and probably for all intents and purposes, much better than what it was before.
And that's the place.
Yeah.
And if he adheres to the variant grant or whatever, then it's up to him, whatever he builds, he builds.
And the other thing that I always worry about is having two functional houses where we have that magical moment when one has to be shut off, which is why I asked, is it functional? It's not.
No.
So we don't have an issue of two houses on the same lot that could be used,
Right.
which we've had in the past and had to put a condition on.
Yep.
The condition's already been met, so.
Right.
Kind of sounds like it's condemned anyways, the roof caved in and everything.
Yeah, it's probably,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if the building inspector had gone up there, he probably
have condemned it.
condemned it anyway, so.
Yeah.
But based on the testimony, it sounds like we just have a house being, or about to be built once everything is cleaned up.
Right.
And it's no other way, so, yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
One less issue, like I said, so.
Okay. I move that we grant Patrick Hanley of 15 Barkhamsted Road a variance to zoning regulations, sections 5 for the front yard variance, and section 2.12 for the water course requirement. Of and we have to put the numbers in, 25 feet on the front and 45 feet on the water course. Sorry, I'm putting this all out of order. Citing as the hardship, the existing non-conforming property.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions? Variance granted, 4-0. Basically, what happens is that once the grant is done, it's placed in town hall, I get a notice, I sign it, the letter goes out to the applicant, and it's also published in the Hartford Courant at some point in the public notices. And in fact, I think there was an issue you were questioning before about notice and getting a letter or something. And it's always the 2 Fridays before the meeting date that it's in the Hartford Courant. And as a courtesy, the town always sends letters out to the abutting neighbors so that everybody knows. And even though that's not in the state statute, it's just one of those things that we do. So, any old business? Just to put you on notice that when we took the vote on the change of the meeting time, starting in January, that we will be having our meetings at 7.
Right.
So,
Get ready to use your cell phone.
yeah, hello, Bob.
Yeah, right. And Bill?
And Bill. So, at any rate, having no other business.
What
do I have a-
what about can I talk about the property that we were going to have a meeting for last month?
Oh, I'll talk about that when we close the meeting,
Okay,
but
sounds
do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, any seconds?
Second.
Okay, anybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everyone?
Anybody opposed? No abstentions. All right, meeting's closed.